Hello, my name is Cristina Nolan. I am a full-time faculty member at Purdue University Global, and I would like to provide you with an introduction to one of my favorite courses to teach, which is PA250, otherwise known as family law. Family law, as you might imagine, is a very popular course. Many students take it because this is the area of interest that they have if they eventually would like to work as a paralegal at a law office or a lawyer practicing family law, or even in a state court system dealing with child support, custody, specific issues, or even working with Division of Family Services, or whatever that organization is called in your specific state. So there's many careers available in this area of law. Sometimes people are just interested in the topic, either for personal reasons, or they have a family or friend going through a situation involving family law, and they just like to know more about it. So I have on the screen the course description. What is this course about? We actually pack a lot into these 10 weeks. Not only will you understand the basics of family law, you are going to actually do a lot of specific tasks that you would do if you were working in a family law office. So obviously, we're going to explore the fundamentals of marriage, the basics, any sort of marital contracts that can arise. You've heard of antenuptial contracts, also known as prenups, legal separation, dissolution, ways to dissolve the marriage. Then we're going to look at things like spousal maintenance, property distribution, even pet custody. Believe it or not, that is an issue in this day and age, and it falls under that category of family law. Paternity, child custody, and support. And then we're going to explore some things that traditionally family law courses sort of ignore. Intimate partner violence. As we know, this is a huge issue. Many practitioners in this area deal with this on a regular basis. So we felt it imperative to introduce it into this course. Child abuse and neglect cases, adoption, which is also considered one of the happiest areas of law in some respects. Also, we'll bring in ethics and alternate dispute resolutions, which you'll see in many of our classes here at Purdue. Here are some of the course outcomes. As you can see, there are 5. This is a 5-credit course. These are the things that you will, after completing this course, you will be very strong in, and you will be able to take away skills under these outcomes. So let's take a look at the different units. Unit 1. Unit 1 really focuses on the marital contract and sort of the very, technical side of family law. Marriage is just a contract. So you'll learn a little bit about contract law in the context of marriage. We'll look at all different types of agreements, premarital agreement, postmarital agreements, and then even why you might even enter into one. Typically, we think of those as for the rich, but that is rich and famous, I should say, but that is not necessarily the case. And then we're going to look at the state law, which will govern these types of contracts. Unit 2, we're going to start looking at what happens when the marriage dissolves. What is an annulment? What is a divorce? What is a dissolution? We'll look at the role of the separation agreement and even the role of the paralegal in creating that. As you know, paralegals can perform a lot of tasks related to these agreements, including interviewing clients, actually preparing these agreements as well, under the supervision of an attorney, of course. Unit 3, we start to look at money, alimony, how alimony is determined, property and debt distribution, and then difference between equitable distribution and community property. How do we divide property or assets that the married couple has amassed during the marriage, or maybe something they've had before the marriage? How is that treated? We'll look at all sorts of things related to the money issues when a couple separates or divorces. So Unit 4 really focuses on child support, and child custody. We'll look at the best interest of the child standard. You may have heard of this. This is central to the determination of custody. We'll look at the visitation rights. This has also become an issue lately. So there may be somebody important in the family, like a grandparent, that may want visitation rights. We're going to look at some cases involving this. Child support, how you modify a child support order. Child support in custody is a really unique area of court jurisdiction. Typically, a court sees parties for just, a short time during the case, but in this case, custody support orders could last till the child is 18 or sometimes older. And then pet custody, we'll look at that too. In Unit 5, we talk about paternity. Not all parents are married or locked together in a certain legal way, like a domestic partnership. So what happens? How do you establish paternity? What are the rights of unmarried parents to their children? What kinds of rights do they have? What do they owe them? Unit 6 focuses on the doctrine of parens patriae, and this is an interesting concept where the state kind of serves as an unofficial parent. And this usually takes place when the parent isn't doing their job, then the state steps in, or at least, shall we say, the state determines the parent isn't doing their job. So when does that happen? What about, what are some federal laws? What are some state laws that are present to protect kids? Mandatory reporting laws. This is important in many disciplines. How are child abuse and neglect cases handled by the state? This could vary from state to state, and we'll look at some state laws. Also, very key issue here: do parents have a right to court-appointed counsel during child protective services cases against them? This is, believe it or not, they don't necessarily have this right. And when you think about it, the stakes are pretty high. They could lose their child. And then we look at steps to parent-child reunification. So maybe there's a chance that the parents and child can get back together in that relationship. Unit 7, we look at the termination of parental rights. Obviously, this is a very serious concept. How does this happen? What are the grounds? What is the process? And then we look at adoptions. What kinds of things might you want to be aware of when drafting an open adoption agreement? There are other considerations than just, this new parent and child relationship being formed. Also, we'll look at the various types of surrogacy contracts. So you might be sensing a theme here. A lot of family law has to do with contracts. Unit 8 covers a completely different topic. This is new to the course: intimate partner violence. We'll look at the difference between a criminal protective order and a civil restraining order. Again, these are governed by state law, so they may vary, but we'll look at these differences. What is the process of obtaining a civil restraining order? And then what about filing fees? Somebody may have left an abusive partner. What if they left with only the clothes on their back? How do they pay those filing fees? Is that going to be a deterrent to them? We'll learn about that in this course. And also we'll look at just overall the issues that arise when representing a victim of intimate partner violence. There are going to be some special things that the legal support team needs to do when handling these kinds of cases. Unit 9, we look at the emotional aspects of the law practice, the client interview process. What do you need from the client during the initial interview? Obviously, this is going to be specialized to the area of family law. Our family law clients are not like clients in other types of cases. They have special needs. And as a legal support team, whether you're an attorney or a paralegal or even a legal assistant or legal secretary that's helping, these are all things that you will need to know. And finally, in Unit 10, we're going to look at ADR, alternative dispute resolution. Obviously, this is something that is being pushed more and more in family law cases. Let's allow parties to resolve things together versus simply having a judge look at the facts and make their own determination. This judge is not connected to the case at all. So we're going to look and see how the paralegal may help in this. Or if the case ends up going to trial, we'll see how the paralegal, what kinds of things the paralegal can do to assist with trial preparation. And obviously there are many things they can do because family law cases tend to involve some math, a lot of back and forth and negotiation between the client and the opposing side. So we are truly looking forward to seeing you someday in PA250. You may have me as a professor, you may have someone else. However, we really do hope you take the class. And as always, if you have more questions, please feel free to consult with the course catalog or your advisor. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure to speak with you and to be able to tell you about family law today. Thank you so much.